Hello guys! Welcome to another episode of Curses. I'm in my pod. So, it has passed more than 1.5 years since my last episode, and why am I breaking this long silence? I actually think I have something unique and I'd like to share it with you. No, I'm not running around in the Nix, jumping gates and killing everybody in my super carrier, no, not just yet. But everybody knows that Eve is a spree cheat in space, and in this episode we're gonna take spree cheat in space to an extreme. Today I bring you guys Pleniers post-battle log analyst. Pleniers post-battle log analyst is really nothing more than an Excel file that I put together with my basic Excel knowledge, and the idea is very simple. You import the text files, the game log files from Eve into the Excel file, and then you can analyze the fight a bit better. Okay, let's get some action going. I'm actually flying a dual-plated Prophecy with a self-wrapper and small guns, very tanky ship. And in this situation, you can see two Harbingers targeting me. I actually was hoping that they would split themselves on the gate. I was hoping for one of them to aggress me, so I could jump and then engage the other one alone. That was not the case, but I said, okay, I can probably take both of them, especially because RTB, my ult, is on a cloaked Logi, just waiting for me to bring him in. Yes, I play dirty and I have no honor. You should know that by now. Okay, one of the Harbingers has aggressed. I decided to aggress him too. I actually changed my ammo to void because I'm expecting the fight to happen really close range. And the first thing you can see already is that I'm actually slow boating away from him. We kind of slingshotted away. I'm 5k away. The Harbingers actually make a team, considering that one of them has a long point and the other one has a scram. Actually, at this point I'm making a mistake. I kept shooting the Harbinger with the long point. This is a very big mistake, considering I have a micro jump drive. I should have changed my target from the long point Harbinger to the short one. I also brought in RTB. He is still cloaked. I'm just waiting for the perfect timing to decloak my Logi. Okay, there we go. I actually decloaked him right now, and I'm orbiting at 50k and activating reps. The Harbingers notice it, and RTB, you can watch on the watch list, is already taking damage. I was really surprised on how much damage they made to my Logi so fast. RTB is going down really fast. He's already in structure. At this point I'm already panicking. Suddenly RTB in my Logi goes down to 10% structure, and I'm losing completely focus on the main fight. I'm just trying to get my Logi alive and trying to have his self-reps. At this point I think I managed a long orbit, so I'm pretty more safe-ish. But they sent drones after the Logi. I'm really not focusing on the main fight, and if you look at the main fight here, I just lost scram on one of the Harbingers. This is happening because I have absolute no range control. So they have two webs on top of me, I have none. They can just slow boat away and warp off. For some reason that I don't really understand why, the Harbinger that is about to die came back into my scram range. So something happened there. I'm not sure if it's also one guy dual tabbing or if he's just not paying attention. Also, you're noticing I'm changing ammo finally. I should have been shooting null the whole time, by the fact that I've been shooting with void at 5k plus on small guns meant that I was applying no damage with the guns. I was relying only on drones. The Harbinger is again trying to gain range on me, but fortunately is already in structure, so I might be able to kill him. And at the same time I brought in my Logi one more time that had warped off. So Right now the real question is, will I be able to kill the Harbinger that is slow boating away and almost outside my swim range? Of course, I overload my swim range, I try to approach the ship, but it's gonna be tight. I can just hope, okay, I lost swim. I'm just hoping for the guy to not be paying also all that much attention, and I'm just hoping for him to, okay, that's nice. He died even not being scrammed. I'm really not sure what happened there. I'm not sure if he was not aligned or if they were just too focused in killing my drones because they're trying to kill my drones. And the prophecy has a large cargo hold or large drone bay, so it's really not a big problem. Okay, the fight is over. At this point, they should have tried to de-aggress and jump out. We're 5k off the gate, we're really not all that far apart. But he decided to kept killing my drones, so it was really pointless and a bad call in his part. And we're pretty much done here. So, okay, let's analyze the fight a bit better with the Pleniers post-battle log analyst. This is the general well aspect on the results tab. I'm just going to show you the results for now. I'll show you later on how you can import stuff. And basically, you will need to identify your own ship. So your log does not do that. You can put any description here that you want. And the log identifies whatever you have shot at. So I've shot at two Harbingers. It seems my drones, I've shot some hammerheads too, also by some reason. But okay. The Excel file also identifies your weapon systems. So I had hammerheads, ogres, hobgoblins, and the light neutron blasters. That's the weapon systems that I used. Of course, if you're using something like a Hecate, Tech 3 Destroyer, or a Svipple, you'll probably only have one weapon system. In this case, I have more weapon systems. Against the first target that I engaged, against the first Harbinger, you can see that the weapon systems that did the most damage were the ogres, not surprising, of course, followed by the hammerheads, and finally the hobgoblins. It is also important to see, and last, of course, the neutron blasters. We already know because I was shooting with void for most of the time. It also identifies the cycles that weapon systems have hit and missed. So the light neutron blasters have missed 62% of the times, and the ogres 1% of the times. Oddly, the hammerheads missed more than the ogres. Don't ask me why, it's a small difference, but well. Anyway, you can see how many cycles they hit and how many cycles they missed. So this is pretty handy, especially to have an understanding how much your guns are hitting or not. I've also added a graph to the right, and it is a timeline of the engagement, and it basically tells me that during the engagement I started with the light neutron blasters. You can just click here and then change the different systems. The light neutron blasters have started to hit. Actually, this large hit is probably a hit on the shields, because shields have low resists, and then in the armor. And the light neutron blasters have missed through all out the fight, or most of the fight. And I should have been shooting null. If I had been shooting null, this graph would have been different. I would have missed less, for sure, and I would have done more damage. I done 5% damage with the light neutron blasters. It's ridiculous. I should have done more. If we check the other weapon systems, for example, the ogres. Okay, now we need to wait a bit because I have a slow computer. There we go. The ogres hit a lot better. You can see in the beginning, this is probably because it was hitting shields. There's a bit here that they're not doing much damage. I don't know what happened here. Oh, of course, it's when I changed to the other Harbinger. Remember the first Harbinger was pulling range, I switched target, and then, of course, if I switch target, the ogres are not making any damage to this one, and then this one burned back into me for some reason, and I changed it to apply DPS on him. So you can actually see here a good timeline on that particular target. You can do the same with other weapon systems, so you have a good idea. Hammerheads hitting. Also, the hammerheads have the same void and the same time zone because I was shooting at the other target. And well, this is pretty much it. We're gonna shoot. Sorry. We're gonna change targets. We're gonna check the second Harbinger, see how it did. I did 23,000 damage against the first one, 24,000 damage against the second one. It's pretty much the same. Okay, there we go. We can see that the big difference, light neutron blasters have actually done 28% of the damage. This is because, okay, baby started to cry, but okay, we're good. This is because I shot null throughout most fights, so they were actually hitting, and I actually changed it to void 2 at the end of the fight. This is when I shot the second Harbinger for a little bit, and you can see a second void here while I'm changing ammo from null to void. I actually don't show that part in the video because the fight was pretty much already over, but you can see on the timeline whenever I was shooting with hammerheads, in this case it's hammerheads, against the second Harbinger. Let's check neutron blasters. Should not be too different a bit. Well, I shot a few shots here, probably changing ammo here, and probably made some range on me at this point because my damage is increasing, and then probably closed up again. Okay, so basically that's pretty much it. Okay, this is for them. We'll check more examples later on, don't worry. Also very interesting is what the damage the hostile ships have done to me. For example, in this fight I did not die, so I don't really know how many hit points I tanked. I had self-reps, I had a huge tank, and I have the logistics also repairing me. So I did not die. How many hit points did I took? We can see that the first Harbinger, P4R, they were actually fitted with heavy beam lasers and not pulse lasers. This explains why they were hitting my logistics far away so well, and this explains why I had to work the logistics off. Anyway, the first Harbinger did 18,000 damage with the beams and 4,000 with the hammerheads. Interestingly enough, even though they had beams, this Harbinger never ever missed me. He never missed one cycle, even though he was beam fitted. This is of course because I was a large target and probably because he had short range ammo in their beams. So we can check the damage that the second Harbinger did to me, and the second Harbinger did to me 27,000 damage, so I pretty much tanked 50,000 hit points. The second Harbinger has more or less the same values. He missed a few more cycles, it seems, with the heavy beams, but nothing really important. Of course, they did not have acolytes, you need to update. So let's see the timeline for heavy beam lasers for the second Harbinger, and there we go. For some reason he either did not shot at me. Oh, this is probably when they were shooting my logistics, so you can see them shooting me, then they probably shot the logistics at this range on the timeline, and then they focus it, and then this guy focused it back again on me, and here he probably missed a couple hits, something like that. We'll probably see maybe a similar pattern with the hammerheads, not sure. And there we go. Yep, hitting me, probably sent after my logistics, hitting me again, sent after my logistics, or I think they were focusing on my drones and then on me again. So the hammerheads were on and off on my ship. Okay, this pretty much sums up. Also, it's interesting to know that hammerheads in the Harbinger did 40% of the damage. In the other guy will probably have done more or less. This is one thing, is for you to have an EFT that tells you how much damage your drones do. other thing is to have a post-battle log that tells you how much they really did. So the one Harbinger made 15% damage with the drones, the other did 21%. Still a bit different, not too much. But okay, we're gonna check some other example. Okay, very well. I've already shown you a couple examples on how the log analyst works and how the results are presented. And now I'm gonna tell you guys how you guys can import the log from the Eve logs. Basically, I'm choosing this particular fight because Bifrost and Svipples and those Tech 3 destroyers and Tech 2 jump destroyers or whatever these guys are called are annoying as hell. They can get under the guns of the Brutix and avoid most damage while killing you and bringing backup. Looking at the kill mail, I have absolutely no idea how much damage I've done with the drones or how much damage I've done with my guns. Did I did more damage with the drones, more damage with the guns, 50-50? Did my guns miss completely? And should I be relying only on drones to kill Tech 2 destroyers or Tech 2 command destroyers, how these guys are called? So I don't really know what happens unless I check the logs. So we're gonna look at the logs and have a good idea on how well the guns of the Brutix fare against such a small targets that can get under a gun, basically. Okay, first thing you need to do is to go to the game logs, to the Eve game logs. The directory should be something like your user, documents, Eve logs, game logs. Depending on how long you play Eve, this is gonna take a bit to load or not. So I've opened it half an hour ago. And let's look for the guy. Okay. He actually shows up 2 times. This basically means that we engaged 2 different fights. I've already checked, it's not this one. You should also check. Control, how do I look for people here? So this guy was actually on a Hurricane. You can check his name, blue, and then in front the ship he was flying. We had a previous engagement. He was on a Hurricane. He actually survived with 5% structure, annoying. But these are not the drones you are looking for. The drones you are looking for is actually the second file. Let's confirm. And Hurricane, Hurricane, Hurricane. Damn. Still Hurricane. Did I just open? Oh, Bifrost. Yeah, pretty much what happened here is that he was in a Hurricane and then he reshipped to a Bifrost. And there we go. That's when I killed him. It's important that you check your logs to have an idea which one is the right file. This is a bit annoying, but well, it's be done. Anyway, this is the right file, so we're gonna select everything. There we go. We're gonna copy to the clipboard, and after copying to the clipboard, just gonna paste. We're just gonna paste on the import sheet. We're gonna delete everything. You can basically use the same file over and over again. That's pretty much what I do. Unless you really want to save it, then you can save it. We're gonna paste. Now, this is important. We should look. Nope. We should look where the fight with the Bifrost pretty much starts, because he's on a Hurricane here. Because results will get messy. So here he's on a Hurricane. He reshaped into a Bifrost. Okay, from this point up, we're gonna delete everything. This point up, it was on a different ship, it was on Hurricane. I'm using already a complicated example because it's very, very important that you trim down the fight, you trim down the log up to the fight that you want. And down here is always on a, oh, Baxter Navy, goddamn. That guy is the reshipping master. He probably got mad and stuff. Yeah, I do piss off people sometimes. Okay, here we shipped here, so we're gonna also jumping into if I'm jumping gates, something happened. Yeah, I'm gonna delete everything down. So everything down. Okay, there you go. Now we should have the data log trimmed to the height that I want with the Bifrost. Okay, very well. Now that I've trimmed down the height to the proper section, we just check results. And we need to, of course, update the target. There we go, Bifrost target. Is reading the weapon systems, is calculating. Okay, there we go. As you can see, I did most damage with the neutron blasters. Okay, good. And the drones actually did very little damage. The drones only did 30% damage against the Bifrost. So, well, it's a Brutix. I'm a bit surprised. I actually thought drones would have done a bit more. I also remember a bit the fight. The Bifrost was mostly 4 kilometers away from us, and that's from me, and that was actually the proper distance for him to be. If he was like 1,000 meters from me, the neutron blasters would have missed a lot more. Let me check for the timeline. Not too shabby. Okay, started that with a bit less, made a bit more. Nothing out of the ordinary here. I never missed them. This is a bit surprising, but this is probably due to the fact that Hurricane, no, he's on Bifrost. That's probably due to the fact that he was like 4 kilometers away from me, so it was fairly easy to hit him. And we also gonna see what damage he tried to do to me. And he did 565 damage. He hit me once. Wow. So I think he was probably more interested in bailing out rather than shooting. Okay, let's check the timeline. Probably gonna see one bar someplace. Yep, one bar there. He shot me once and then you probably try to bail. As a consolation prize, they did kill my other alt and my 2 corp mates on a Vigilant and the Artress, so this is a fight that we clearly lost. I'm not really trying to put down anybody. This was just an example. And well, there you go. Basically, you go to your logs, look for whoever you want, pick the right file. Once you import it on the import sheet, you need to trim stuff a bit. You need to trim out the garbage. This could be some work, but it's indispensable. And once everything is trimmed out, just check the results. Use the blue cells to update, and well, have fun. This is pretty much it. I'm gonna post some files on the YouTube site or YouTube video. You can probably check on the description several links. I will try to put several links for you to download, several Excel files for you to download. I do not really know how to make this in other programs or C plus or whatever people use to program. It would be very interesting if somebody could actually program a proper application for this sort of stuff. But well, it is what it is, and I do hope it's useful for you. So see you later on, guys.